Hi, welcome to this guide. I'm going to tell you something about the game King of Avalon that I've been playing for a while, a couple of weeks now. It's a massive multiplayer online strategy game. Maybe you are familiar with games like Game of War, Mobile Strike, although this specific game seems to be more like Clash of Kings and Clash of Queens, some other titles. The thing about these type of games is that the time of the game just continues. If you're not playing, your account is still active in the kingdom it's located in. People can still attack it. Your account can still be developed further if you can give some actions that make it work for you while you're offline. It makes this very interesting and quite addictive to many people. I'm just going to show you a bit about the account I've been playing on to give you an idea what it's all about. So when we look here, this is the city that I've built. There are a number of buildings inside the city walls, but we are first going to look at the buildings outside of the city walls. Those are mostly my resource buildings. They produce various resources. I think you can already see by the icons of it that there's a lot of wood and food being produced, so I can click on those icons and then they will be added to my stockpile that you see at the right top of the screen. So I currently have 1.7 million food, 1 million wood and 229k iron. So that's nice. So we have buildings like the sawmill and the farm, and by the small number located in those buildings, you see the current level of the buildings. You can upgrade these buildings to bring them to a higher level. So besides these farm and wood, we also have things outside the city walls like hospitals and military tents. The hospitals are at the right bottom here, and the military tents, the blue things surround it. And we have for resources, I have also some iron mines located here. Later, I'm currently the level of my account is level 14. When it reaches level 15, another resource will be added, silver. So I should also be able to build some silver mines at that time, but that's currently not yet possible. So those resources you need for all kind of activities like training troops, upgrading your buildings, doing research. That I will briefly show you those later. The military tents that I mentioned, they speed up the training of your troops, and they also increase the amount of troops you can train at each time. The more you have and the higher the level they have, the higher these two values are. So the more troops you can train at the same time and the faster the troop training goes. There's one special building located outside with this chest on top of it. The chest you can take by clicking on it. It's a tribute. We can collect that, and then once we have done that, there will be a new cooldown timer, so 4 minutes 50 seconds. Then another of these tributes will appear. It's a building that cannot be upgraded, but you can get some goodies at regular time or at scheduled time intervals. They're not very regular. The longer you play, the longer that timer becomes. So now we're looking at the buildings inside your city wall. Sometimes we get some tip and just click that away so we can look at the building. So the major building inside is the stronghold. The stronghold determines the level of your account, and you need to upgrade the stronghold before you can upgrade any of the other buildings. Some of the specific buildings have other requirements, so they need one other building to be upgraded to the next level before they can be upgraded. But everything requires the stronghold in either a direct way or an indirect way. So that is a building you definitely want to upgrade. Also costs a lot of resources. In itself, the benefit of the stronghold is that you increase, if you can see all the buildings, that you see an overview of all the buildings. Okay, I thought I was going to see something more here, but I'm not. So let's just go back. But in general,
The benefit of the stronghold building is also that the march size of your troops will be extended. That's very important as well, actually. So the higher your stronghold building, the more troops you can send in one deployment. That is important for attacking players, but also for gathering resources, for example, or attacking monsters. But more about that later. So another thing we're going to look at is the buildings that help you train troops, that allow you to train troops. So we have 4 types of troops actually in this game. We have infantry, we have range, we have cavalry, and we have siege. Each of them have their own building. We're now looking at the barracks. So the higher the level of the barracks, the more or the better the troops actually are, the more choice we have of troops we train, but typically you want to train the troops of the highest level or tier. If you look at with each building, you can go to info and more info, and then you see that at certain levels, like level 1 you have pikemen, level 4 you have skirmishers, and then each 3 levels it seems you get another troop type that you can train. So I'm now at level 12, and level 13 I can train the light spearmen. So it's good to upgrade these buildings, and that is the barracks, and here we have the range, and here we have the cavalry, here we have the siege. By the way, these buildings are at locations that I've placed them. When you start your account, you can place your buildings at other places, so it won't look exactly the same as I will show here, but the idea should be very similar. It doesn't really matter where you place these buildings, except for your own convenience. Maybe you might want to have these buildings where you train troops gathered together. So actually these buildings are also not only for upgrading, but here you actually also give the assignment to train troops. So you can just say, okay, I train, and I select, well, by default they suggest to select the highest possible level that you can train. Here you see a number below, at the bottom of the screen you see a number of troops you have not trained yet, and you see, or you have not unlocked yet, sorry, and you see this button to start the training. Well, I've done that now, and then you see this cooldown timer, so it's still 2 hours and 56 minutes before the troop training is finished. In the beginning, if you have less military tents and less because of that you can train a lot less troops, and your troops are of a lower level because your barracks in the beginning are very low, so then the amount of training, the time is very small, but as the game progresses that becomes more and more. So those 4 buildings allow you to train troops. Some other buildings that are interesting, one very important one is the university, where we can do research. Research can improve all kinds of facets about your game. So it's very important to focus on that as well. Ideally you would like to have research going on all the time, but in reality it's quite difficult to get enough resources to do research. So definitely there will be times that your research, your university is not doing any active research. So you have 4 major categories, each have their own benefits. I'm doing a lot of focus actually on the economy one, because it allows me to get more resources. It improves my gathering and my production of the resources. At this moment I've already done a lot of research here compared to what I can. Because my university is level 14 and researches are only allowed to be done once your university reaches a certain level. So I'm going to give the job now to research this one, the iron gathering, which gives an additional boost, and this is the last one, the 5th level of the 5 possible levels, and give me an additional 2% boost. It takes me, there are 2 times located there. The 7 hours 51 is the original time, and 7 hours and 2 minutes and 34 seconds is the discounted time, because I have some research boosts active. So I researched this, and then, no, it was iron production instead of iron gathering, sorry about that. What we shouldn't forget when we do a new building or research, we can click on this help icon above the building, and it allows our alliance mates, and I will go more into that later, to help us by and their help will deduce a bit of the remaining timer from our cooldown timers. Maybe a good thing to show next is the embassy, because the embassy allows you to help people, and a higher level of embassy allows you to receive more help, and will make sure that more time is deducted from your cooldown timers. So that's good to have a high level. Compared to some other games, this embassy deducts a fixed amount of time from your timers. As you can see here, the timer help duration is a fixed amount of seconds that increases when you go higher, but it's not really that it's not really like some other games that help reduces 1% of the cooldown timer. So this is, to some extent it's nice, but it's not that great. Another thing, a good reason to upgrade your embassy is that it increases the reinforcement capacity. If you are attacked by other players, your alliance mates can reinforce you, and that capacity is very important as well. The more troops they can reinforce, the better chance you stand to beat your attacker. Another building is the trap factory. In the trap factory you can, similarly like troops, you can determine by upgrading it which traps you can actually build. And traps are used for defense in your city wall. And the more traps and the better traps you have, the better chance you stand at beating any players that might attack you. So something to also look at. I'm going to not upgrade it, but build some traps now, some fire rocks in this case. There are three or four different type of traps that each have their own strength. There are more buildings. I will not go into each and every one of them now at this moment. What I want to show you is, besides troops, you have your lords. Lords give you also, in several ways, they give you boosts. And they can be upgraded as well by gaining experience. So one way to for your lord to give you boosts is by the equipment that the lord is wearing. So if I click, for example, on this ring I'm wearing, that we see that gives a 6% food production and wood production boost. Your armory, that I will look at briefly later, you can make these equipments for your lord. And the higher level in general, so the green ones are better than the gray or white ones that you see. And then you have blue ones, purple ones, and yellow or orange ones as the best gear. But for that your lord needs to have a high level as well. So besides the gear, there are also talent points, which are a bit similar to the research in the sense that you have different categories. Again, I have focused a lot on economy, but you can actually reset these talent points. So before waging war, it might be a good idea to reset it and go more to the war category to assign your points. So in this case, I have some food production and food and wood gathering boosts, and also can see a construction and research project where I assign some points. So these give you boosts to increase your construction and research speed. So those help when you want to upgrade buildings and when you want to do research, that it speed up the time. Beneficial as well, but as I mentioned, see, there's one of my alliance mates that clicked on help, and that deduced some timing from the outstanding research timer of the research that I just started. So you can explore that later and just look at the boosts you want to have. I find that getting enough resources is very difficult in this game, so I have a lot of focus on improving the gathering speed of my resources, as well as the production rate of my resources. So we see that we have experience, an experience bar that we need to reach 330,000 experience, of which we have currently at 253 to get to the next level. And the other bar, the green bar, is kind of stamina bar. And you need stamina to participate in rallies and to attack monsters. I will show you how to attack monsters later. So what's also interesting in this view is some settings at the left bottom, and one of them, I'm not going into everything, I mean a lot just makes sense, like game settings where you can control the sound, but one of them is also a possibility to bind your account. And if you click on the account, you can bind it to, in this case I'm playing this on an iPad, you can bind it to Facebook and to the Game Center. In other devices, other platforms, you might be able to bind it to other things, but I really recommend that as soon as you start playing to bind your account. Even, I mean, a lot of people decide to play with multiple accounts. At that time it becomes a necessity to bind your account, otherwise you cannot switch between different accounts on your device. But even if you just play with one account, you might find that you spend a lot of time on this. It could be that you also are going to spend quite some money on this, but even if you don't do that, it would be a waste if you somehow your game crashes or your whole device crashes and you lose all the development of your account. So just bind it. It's a very minor step to do, and in that case you can always play it again on another device if that is somehow necessary. Okay, some other things is that this view allows you to look at the boosts and the power breakdown of your account. So if we look at the overall power, I'm now at a little bit over 3 million, which is still a small fry. Maybe I'll try to show you later how I'm located based to other players in the kingdom that I'm active in. So we have Lord power, which is related to the Lord, mostly upgrading the Lord. It's 141. We have Dragon power, 288. We'll briefly look at the Dragon next. We have Troop power. That's quite a large one. Is the amount of troops that I have, and the level of the troops determine that. We have Building power. That is a very large one. So it's upgrading your buildings. We have research power, that's still quite small. It's, although I'm quite active with doing research, it's important, but it stays quite small. Trap power, well, I was a little bit more than 1 week ago I was attacked and all my traps were wiped out, so I had to start building my traps from scratch. That's one of the reasons why it is quite low. Another is that you just don't get that many power points for traps. Equipment power is your equipment. I think for the level I'm at, I probably have reasonable equipment, although I should really improve it, get to green. It's something you keep improving along the game all the time. Here you also see an overview of all your boosts in the different categories. And for example, the city development, we see certain, at this moment I have a construction speed boost of 23.5% and a research speed boost of 11.5%. Okay, as I mentioned, I want to look at the dragon next. Don't want to go into too much detail. So you have a dragon, and a dragon that can also, just like the Lord, improve the boosts that you give to your troops. Well, this is mostly troops actually. The Lord gives troops boosts to all kind of activities. So the dragon comes with a lot of dragon skills, and those are assault skills and guardian skills. Just to click on one, it says okay, this gives an increase of the attack of your bowman against infantry. So these boosts are actually quite specific. At this moment I have a boost of 14%, and the next rank I will have a boost of 20%. It's quite interesting because I'm now currently at level 5, so if I upgrade it, it goes to level 6. At this moment I don't have enough assault points for that. But it's interesting that the jump actually becomes quite high. So in the beginning the jumps are smaller, but at this stage the jump becomes quite high. So it's definitely beneficial to go to the higher levels. I probably haven't done it that smart. Actually, I'm collecting data from my website as well. You should definitely check that out so that you can see a lot of information in the game, what the boosts are, what the requirements are and such, what equipment you can make, and well, all kind of stuff. There are also a number of guides, so it will definitely be useful to check that out if you play this game. And to collect the data, instead of selecting certain dragon skills and upgrading them to a high level, I upgraded all that I had to level 5, which is nice for collecting data, but probably for your account point of view you can better say, okay, I'm going to use these dragon skills and I want to upgrade those to a high level to just give the maximum boost to my account. So for these dragon skills you can assign them, because not all that you have are automatically used. So I click on the assign skills, and then there are actually 4 categories. So that is when those assigned skills will be used. So you have attack, it's when you attack with troops that include your dragon. You have defense, so when the dragon is at your base and you're attacked, what skills are used at that time. You have gathering, so when you go out gathering with your dragon, what happens there, or when you are attacking monsters, so what boosts are active there. So each you can assign 3 dragon skills. Later in the game that can be more. Currently my dragon is level 19. If I reach level 20 I open up another slot, so I can assign another dragon skill. So that's definitely something also to pay attention to. It can give you some nice extra boosts.